Hello everyone, Paul Rogers here. Today is December the 15th, 2017. We're looking at Bitcoin to US dollar tether. We can see that Bitcoin from a US dollar standpoint is at new all-time highs. And there's something that you should see though. The volume isn't very high. What does that mean? It means that unless the volume picks up, it's most likely Bitcoin won't go on a significant run and actually could have a retracement. So last night it looked like money was flowing into Bitcoin, and I was pretty pumped, pretty excited, because I wanted to buy a few alts on discount. But right now it looks like money might be flowing back into alts. So the market's a little indecisive. I'm gonna have to wait a little bit and see what actually happens. But just keep in mind, volume is not confirming price action, which means that things could reverse or stagnate. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about how to invest, which is something I really haven't touched before. Now, investing can actually be a little bit tricky in cryptos. You generally speaking want to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. And what I mean by that is, let's say, let me take a different approach. The first thing you need to do if you want to invest in cryptos is find out how you want to diversify your portfolio. Now, there's a couple different sectors. There's cryptos that represent money, which I think the best would be obviously Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, things like that, that don't serve much other purpose besides as a transfer of wealth. So that's one segment. The other segment would be kind of like platforms like Ethereum, Neo, NEM, and there's a lot of other really good platforms, BitShares, and platform technologies are nice because you get a network effect, an ecosystem effect with those, and you want to have some exposure to that. Usually they're using smart contracts or they're building other layers on top of the blockchain. And you definitely want to have some exposure to that because, in my opinion, platforms could actually outperform the currency segment in a few years. Right now, currencies are still on top, but I think that platforms will actually catch up a little bit. And the last segment is, I'd say, traditional banking. So things like Ripple or Stellar, things that are looking to take advantage of the existing banking infrastructure and inject blockchain technology into it. So I know a lot of people are kind of down on traditional banking, but it's not going to go away and it's not going to be replaced. So it's good to have some exposure in your portfolio to traditional banking options. Now, another good question is when to buy. Generally speaking, you want to buy when everyone else is panicked and selling. The very best time to buy is when things are crashing. There's tons of bad headlines and everyone's piling on. That happens every so often, and sometimes you can have huge corrections, which means a huge discount. Sometimes 50-60% I've seen discounts, and usually it's when everyone's scared and tons of regulation coming in and this and that. So when there's lots of negative headlines, it's a very good time to invest. Now, let's say you're already invested and you're looking at a good time to pick up an altcoin that you value. Generally speaking, if it is an altcoin, you want to wait until Bitcoin is on a run. At that point, the exchange between Bitcoin and the altcoin you're trying to pick up is going to be favorable. And so that's usually a good time to pick up a good altcoin. What you don't want to do is you don't want to chase profits, meaning that you don't want to invest in things just for the sake of trying to make a buck. And the reason is because you're going to end up getting, there's a lot of times where there's like pump and dumps. And this is where people will go, and sometimes there's no news at all, sometimes there's fake news or news that's not very significant for some kind of altcoin that you've never even heard of. But you see people are making money off of it, you get excited and you jump in. This is called FOMO, or fear of missing out. And it happens to the best of us, but you want to definitely keep that in check, especially if you're dealing with something that's based on hype. I mean, it's possible you could make some quick bucks going and investing in something just because it's moving in one direction and you jump in, but you're going to end up getting burnt, meaning that eventually you're going to get stuck with a currency that has little or no real value, and your portfolio is going to get killed because of it. So don't get suckered into pump and dumps. You need to go and look at the technologies, the different sectors I mentioned, the 3 different segments, and pick which technologies are the ones that you like, and then find a good time to invest in those. Since the whole market segment is expanding, sometimes the best time to invest is just today. Just jump in and get your feet wet right away. There's nothing really wrong with that because the entire market segment is growing. But if you can play things in a way to where you can get Bitcoin when alts are pumping, so you can get in at a good price for Bitcoin, then things seesaw, Bitcoin starts to run, you can take that money and put it into altcoins. That's the absolute best way to do it, but it takes a little bit of timing and patience. So anyhow, just wanted to share that information with you guys as far as what I look for in investing. Once again, the best time to invest in something is when no one's paying attention to it. Like Ripple last week. Ripple's been kind of hibernating for maybe 6 months or so, and if you believe in the Ripple technology and the potential behind Ripple, then it would have been a very, very intelligent thing to do, to pick it up when no one else was looking at it, instead of going and trying to wait until it's already pumping and then fearing that you're going to miss this big run and jumping in. So even when I was making my video a few days ago about Ripple, I was recommending getting in after a correction. Let's see if Ripple's corrected a little bit. In terms of US dollars, there was a decent correction. I wouldn't say it was 50% of the run. I was hoping for 50% of the run. In terms of Bitcoin, it might have been. Let's take a look. Looks like the high was around here and it went all the way down. I think I made a video when Ripple was right down here, and I was like, I think it's going to go down a little bit further because I think Bitcoin's going to run, and then you should definitely pick it up. So I'm sorry if that didn't transpire. I really thought Bitcoin was going to, all the signs were pointing to Bitcoin actually running a little bit further, and you could have gotten Ripple at a very good discount and then follow Ripple up on the next move up. That is if something that you want to invest in does jump like that, then it's always good to wait for a pullback before you jump in. So anyhow, it is Friday. I hope you guys all have a good Friday. We're getting into the holiday season here pretty soon. I'm very interested to see how this Friday and Saturday shape up with trading. I'm very interested to see how bullish Bitcoin is going to be, and if it can actually get some volume behind it and break the new highs. That would be a lot of fun. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed this video. Paul Rogers out.